Good evening, my fellow citizens. I've been doing a lot of thinking within the past few months, especially since the Republican debate that the state of Alabama hosted back on December 6th of 2023. I've been thinking a lot about the state of Alabama's standing in our nation of the United States of America. And even since my childhood, when I've watched TV shows or seen things about popular culture, I've always heard about the great things that states such as Florida and California and Texas and New York and Illinois offer to our nation. And yes, they do. Those states are part of the heartbeat of the United States. But I've lived here in the heart of Dixie for my entire life, with no plan of ever leaving, at least not right now. And I say that with immense pride in this great state that not a lot of people around the country would think much about, other than stereotypes that they've only heard but never experienced. And I've always wondered why Alabama was not up there with all the others, given the significance of Alabama to our nation's identity. The 22nd state in the United States is more than just a number. It was part of the heartbeat of the beginnings of the Civil War that our nation struggled with and rebounded from. It was also the scene of some of the most significant events of the Civil Rights Movement that furthered the rights and opportunities for our minority citizens to be able to make better lives for themselves, as many are now. The state of Alabama offers far, far more than this nation would have you believe. Because for whatever reason, those in power don't want you to really reach your full potential. They want you to be distracted. They want you to be low. So they want the people in Alabama, they'll put them down in any way they can by telling them, you're in a state of inbred people. You're in a state that's represented only by its kids' football. I think it was an utter disgrace that when our state got the opportunity to host that debate last December, that all the hype and the videos surrounding it were full of football highlights from the University of Alabama football team. Is that really all we have to offer as a state? I'm here to tell you as a proud citizen of the Yellowhammer State that the answer to that question is no. Alabama offers far, far more. Alabama has the safest and most structurally sound bridges in the entire nation. Alabama has some of the most fertile soil in the nation. And you can tell that just by driving on some of our roads. See all sorts of different kinds of crops on either side of you. You can see one thing on the left, another thing on the right. But see, these are things that you're not going to be told. These are things you're not going to be able to experience unless you come here. Unless you've been here and you really experience it. And see, I live in a unique place, a town called Phoenix City. And its geographical location is right on the border of Alabama and Georgia. Just to our east is Columbus, Georgia, the second largest city in the state of Georgia. So I see Georgia, and I hear a lot about Georgia too, another fantastic state. And I see some of the similarities and differences that Alabama and Georgia have. And even Georgia gets a lot of recognition that Alabama does not. I'm sick and tired of seeing Alabama ranked in the bottom 10 or bottom 5 in just about every ranking possible. Alabama is better than that, and our citizens deserve better than always be at the bottom of every list, save for Mississippi. It's about time we stop saying, thank gosh for Mississippi. It's about time we lost ourselves far, far higher than a lot of people would have us believe that we can accomplish. And see, I know some of the people that we hear this are citizens of Texas and California. And y'all know how great y'all states are. I visited Texas. I've never visited California. And chances are they've never visited Alabama. But there's a lot of things the state has to offer. I mentioned Phoenix City. Phoenix City is just one example of the resilience that the state has. The city that was referred to as Sin City in the 1950s, almost literally hell on earth, full of corruption and violence. There's still historical markers in downtown, marking where a lot of these events happened. You can stand right where a city official was shot and killed in an alleyway downtown. City doesn't have that anymore. We're growing. Heck, we're getting an Outback Steakhouse in Phoenix City. There's one in Columbus, Georgia. In fact, there's 2. But we're getting one. We're getting one. And rightfully so. Of course, Phoenix City isn't all there is. Take the city of Birmingham. Back in the times of the Civil Rights Movement, it was just as bad too. But its culture and its involvement in the iron industry have really shaped it into an integral part of our nation. Of course, you got the capital city of Montgomery, an hour and some change south of the magic city of Birmingham. You've got the capital city of Montgomery, where we've got secretly one of the most passionate bodies of state Congress in the nation. Some of the most courageous people who stand up for what is right. And recently, Alabama's been in the news more and more for that. But a lot of times it's been positioned in a negative light. And Alabama deserves better than that, too. Take the city of Mobile. Right there on Mobile Bay. You can still go visit the battleship of the USS Alabama, showing our involvement in our nation's military. Of course, there's an Army base and Air Force base in Montgomery, too. And you take the city of Huntsville, Madison area. It's one of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in the nation. I've seen a prediction that by 2030, Huntsville will be the 3rd largest city in the nation, or the 3rd largest populace, regardless of what number and what ranking it falls into. It's coming. The state of Alabama, we're coming. My fellow Alabamians, it's about time you had somebody leading the way that made you feel like this state was going somewhere. Not just that we were just coasting along and just trying to make it through. It's about time we thrived. It's past time that Alabama truly realized its potential as a state and really make headlines for good in our nation. And stand up for what is right and have people from our state really represent our state and our nation on a nationwide and even global front. Alabama's been too great of a state for this nation to have not gotten the recognition that it deserves. I could probably go on. It is with immense pride that next month, in fact to the day, May 20th or 21st today, June 20th, the first Major League Baseball game ever played in Alabama will be played at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Rickwood Field is the oldest professional baseball park in the country, still in professional use. And I am so proud to say that as of right now, I will be attending. It will be a truly pleasurable experience for me to see that. But even in ways that are bigger than a sport, Alabama matters. Alabamians, you matter to this country. They call this part of the country Dixie. Heck, in tornado season, a lot of times they refer to this part of the country as Dixie Alley. And with every living being, there's a heart. Dixie is a living part of the country. In Alabama, we are the heart of Dixie. Never forget that. Like all the other states, we bleed red, yes we do. And we love all of our other states in this country. But unlike them, we bleed a fine crimson red. A true Alabama red. The same crimson that our Heavenly Father shed for us on the cross so many years ago. And we recognize that. Possibly more in this state than in any other. Alabama, we deserve somebody who's going to make this state feel like it truly matters on the national stage. It's about time. I've been waiting my whole life for Alabama to be up there. I don't want us to be low. I don't want us to just coast. I don't want us to scrape by. I want to see us at our best. And I don't think I've seen it. We've had leaders that have just given us just enough. They've had good policies, but that's it. They've not been out there. I see the governors of Florida and Texas and California and New York. They're out there. They're on TV. They're on the news. And our governor, well, she's the oldest governor in the nation. At a time where a lot of people are already revolting against elder leaders and looking toward younger ones. And of course, I'm 23 right now. I'll be 24 in November. And it would fill me with immense pride to one day be selected to lead our state toward that ideal of Alabama being at the top. Alabama leading the way for the country. Not in a way to make us better than all the other states, but in a way that would elevate the country with us. As we go up, the rest of the country would go up. Not to compete with other states, but to collaborate with them. We can be the example for everyone else. I know we can. But we've got to have people who first believe that we can. And the worst thing about our leaders is that we can't tell. We can't tell. They just coast. You don't ever know. You don't know what they're thinking. You know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's time for Alabama to be in the national spotlight for good. For the better. For the betterment of the country and the world. So I'm announcing today my intention to someday, not sure when, but someday to run for governor of the state of Alabama, the heart of Dixie, the Yellowhammer state, the state that is ranked number 5 in automobile production. And I can't wait to see where the journey takes me as I continue to explore and learn about this great state, meet more people. The pride that I have in my state is unmatched, arguably by anyone else. Because some people come along and say they want to implement this policy or that policy. That's fine. But we need more than policy. Alabama deserves better than policy. We also deserve somebody who believes that Alabama is far, far better than it has allowed itself to be. We should not be afraid. Just as FDR told the country once, I will tell you, the state, we have nothing to fear but our own fear itself. We've been down low long enough. It's time for us to rise up. It's time for us to make our impact, to leave our mark on the nation. We can do it. It's past time you lived in a state you could be proud of. And I can't wait to make it happen. I know it's possible. It's right within our grasp. We have everything we need to be the best that we can. And we can get there. We just gotta have people who believe it. I don't see those people right now. But maybe I can be the first. I don't want to be the only. I want to be the first. And anybody else who's willing to come along, you're welcome. Come on. Join me in this journey to make Alabama better than it's ever been, and to make it truly one of the greatest states in the United States of America. We have the potential to do just that. And Alabama, you and me and us deserve nothing less than our best. God bless you and the great state of Alabama.